What's up, guys? Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. It's a late one, 11 p.m. over here on the East Coast. I am going to be running this a little bit solo today. Usually I have Zach or Don on tonight, but tonight it's just going to be me. We usually kick this off around 5 p.m. Eastern time, but I was a little bit busy today, so I didn't want to ask any of the guys to come on tonight late, so you're going to be stuck with me tonight. I figure we'll just waste a little bit of time, maybe like an hour or so, and maybe take some questions and just hang out for a little bit because I'm not doing anything. But what's up, Craig Osterberg? Craig, always one of the first persons to comment on my videos. Thank you, Craig. And Tritan, what's up, Tritan? Alright, let's see what we got today. Now, in case you guys have missed it, I think it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday that I uploaded my first review in about a month and a half, maybe 2 months now, of the Definitive Technology Dymension series speakers. Now, back in my day, when I used to work at Best Buy, we used to sell Definitive Technology speakers. And it was never speakers that I would actually take time to listen to. Even though growing up back in high school, the DefTech speakers, I always kind of really wanted them because I would always see them in like Home Theater Magazine and Stereophile. And I was always impressed by speakers that had powered subwoofers built into them. And back then, I believe they used to go down to like 20 hertz. So that was always like my goal was to have subwoofers that went down to 20 hertz. Because I'd never experienced it because back in high school, I just didn't have any money. So eventually, in my older years, I did get a job at Best Buy, and then they sold DefTechs, and I never took the time to really listen to them. And then Elias got some Definitive Technology speakers, which I helped him set up a few years back. I'm going to say back in like 2017, 2018, he got the BP series. I think they were like the 9020s. I think they had the little 8-inchers built into them. But we can never get them to sound right in his room because his room is like really long. I think the speakers might have been a little bit too small, or I just didn't know how to use Room EQ Wizard properly back then when I first started the channel. So we had a hard time kind of getting them dialed into the space. You know, fast forward now, a few years later, I went to the Audio Advice show. And if you guys had missed the video, I shot the video over on Audioholics. I think it was his most popular, Gene's most popular video, was the Definitive Technology video from Audioholics live. Even though if you guys had watched that video, we did have some shaky cam issues because that was one of the last videos that we shot during the day. So everybody's hands was getting tired. I was the only one holding the gimbal, but my wife was handheld the camera. So after 6 hours, her hand was just like, it was like shaking. It was like moving all over the place. So I try to cover it as much as possible with like B-roll. And Gene being a little complainer, he was like, yo, Shane, this is like the worst video you've ever shot. It's the worst video. It's so shaky. It's so amateur. And I said, listen, nobody's even going to notice it's shaky cam. Nobody had even said anything about it. And lo and behold, it turned out the only video on his channel from that Audio Advice live show to get the most views, I think it got something like 23,000 or whatever. So all the complaining he did from me shooting that video with me and my wife, it turned out to be his best video. And lo and behold, I thought that those speakers were the best sounding speakers at the show. They had it hooked up to an AV10 and then a Marantz amp 10 as well. I believe I reviewed the amp 10 a few months back. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I wasn't being critical at the show. But they had a bunch of I think the DM70s, or maybe they were like the DM80s, all hooked up, just all around the room. And then they had the little, I think the DM95s, the little sloping, the little Atmos height speakers, the wedge speakers that look like the SVSs. And then they had 4 of the DN15 subwoofers, one in each corner. And that was like the most impressive sound that I heard at the show. And we've heard, when I was there, I heard the Sony KEF room, which was a bunch of the Q series, I think like the Q150 or something. And then I heard the monitor audio demo, which was ridiculously expensive. It was like way more. It's probably like 10 times as much as the Definitive Technology system. And that thing, listen, the monitor audio room actually, well, the setup was pretty good. It sounded decent, but oddly enough, for such an expensive setup, it did bottom out a couple of times. So for something that was probably like $40,000-$50,000, your speakers probably shouldn't be bottoming out. That was the monitor audio room. But the DefTech room was the best sounding, I thought, had the most engaging surround effects. I think maybe because everything was like so powered, there was just like an overwhelming amount of nice, like clean bass, especially with the 15-inch subwoofers. Then they had, I think, like four height channels. Maybe it was 6, but it was definitely 4. Minimum of 4 height channels for the Atmos effects. And they had it was a really well great sounding demo. We heard like Godzilla vs. Kong. I think they might have played Top Gun Maverick as well. It was the best sounding room there. So I did, after I got back home, I did reach out. I shot him an email. And when I shot him an email, they were kind of like back ordered or whatever. They were like low on review stuff for a few weeks after we got there. So it took me about a good month or 2 to get him in for review. So I finally got him in, and man, I was like blown away. I mean, you saw the video. I'm sure you saw the video, but I was kind of blown away by the audio quality from these speakers. And like people don't listen. People just don't talk about the kind of bass that you can get from a center channel. I know I've talked about this before in the past, like having a good big center channel that can keep up with your left and rights. It's kind of a big deal. Many people don't think about it. I see a lot of people with like huge towers and then these little rinky-dink center channel speakers, and it just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. And you can have the best subwoofers in the world, you know, your center channel, it's either going to sound really light, it's going to sound thin, probably anemic, and just because you got some subwoofers, you know, listen, you don't want to hear some Palpatine's voice just coming out of your subs. You want to hear it coming directly from the screen. And with the DefTechs, with the Perlisten, with the Focals that I mentioned in the video, those are one of the few speakers that really keep up with your left and right channels, and it really projects well into the room. You can feel the voice, the graveliness of the voices. Car doors open, you can hear them slam from the center channel or the left or right, depending on what's going on. Explosions definitely have more oomph coming from the front of the room, from the front sound stage. And if you have the same matching speakers in your surrounds, believe it or not, you do get bass out of your surrounds as well. So I really did like this center channel speaker. I kind of wish more speakers just had bigger drivers in them, especially in the center channel. And the powered 8-inch, man, makes a big freaking difference. I'm a fan. I dug it. Right now I don't have a home theater. I'm in a bedroom right now, but when I do get a theater, maybe I'll reach out again and see if they can send me like another 5 or 6 DM70s just to like round out an entire home theater with like just full range, and then just have a couple of subs just kicking in just for the lower end, maybe have them crossed over like 40 hertz or something like that, just to pick up the like the infrasonics, because these 210s, at least in my room, just for the 2 speakers, they sounded fantastic. And the center channel, man, whew, that center channel just rocks. Like I mentioned in the video, it's not like a super transparent audiophile-esque experience, but you don't quite get the same refinement or kind of like that 3D-esque where like sounds kind of just float in the air type of thing that you get with like a Focal. But for the price, $2,000 a speaker, man, it's a fun, dynamic sounding setup. 100%. Definitely check them out if you get the chance. I think if you go to Best Buy, you're not going to get the same experience at Best Buy, because I feel like their rooms are just never set up properly, unless you go to one of those Magnolia stores or Best Buy Premium stores. I don't know what they're called nowadays, but I don't think those stores typically have like the deaf techs in their special like dedicated theater rooms. So it's gonna be kind of hard to audition them properly. But if you do get a chance, listen, worth it. Definitely check them out. And those were the DM70s. Those are like the second from the flagship. But if you missed the review, check out the review. Nobody had mentioned it, but I did shoot the second half of that video here at the little temporary place that I'm staying at right now. And for whatever reason, you know, I got one of these Sony FX3s, which was the camera that was used to shoot The Creator. So it's like Hollywood-esque level type of imaging. And typically Sony never really misses on their autofocus, but because usually right now it's like, if you see what I'm looking at, there's a little autofocus little box that goes over your eye, so focuses on your eye. I don't know what happened. I shot the video. Oh, I didn't shoot the video. I had my buddy shoot the video, and the focus was just like catching on my shirt for whatever reason. I mean, like my face was in the shot, so I don't know why I lost focus. So I was a little upset about that because everything else was like really shot well, but then just me talking was blurry. So I was a little bummed about that. Anyways, what do you guys think about DefTech speakers? Leave your comments down below. And before we move on further from DefTech to talk about you guys and your questions, let's take a second to thank today's channel partner, Mint Mobile. Guys, I want to take a minute to thank today's channel partner of the Home Theater Hangout, Mint Mobile. For a limited time, don't miss out on the chance to get 3 months free service when you buy any 3-month plan. Wireless plans for Mint Mobile start at just $15 a month. For $30 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for just only $30 a month. You know, before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I'm paying now from one of the bigger wireless providers, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts to get your new wireless plan starting at just $15 a month. And get the plan shipped right to your door for free. Go to trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee. That's trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee. That is trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee if you want to cut your mobile bill in half. Thank you, Ryan Reynolds, for supporting the channel. All right, so that is Mint Mobile. Let's see what's going on in the chat here tonight. Saw you already, Craig. Varen Mawar, hi Shane, big fan of your work. Why your home theater is decommissioned? I always buy 4K movies after your reviews. Well, I did touch on this. I guess not many of you watch these live streams all the time, but let's answer this question. My home theater is out of commission right now because I am in the process of buying a house. I'm actually in the process of finding a house. So the apartment that I was in was sold, so I had to move out abruptly within 30 days. I moved out in 15 days, and now I'm at my friend's house, as you can see, in this bedroom here. And then, so temporarily, while I'm staying here, we have been going to many places during this past month and a half, 2 months now. Just looking at different houses. And as you guys know, that the interest rates and prices of houses are just like skyrocketed. So trying to find a house within my budget has been a little bit daunting. Some people might think I make a lot of money. I don't make a lot of money. So like I said, trying to find a house in my price has been kind of tough. hasn't really been tough. I'm like, there's a lot of nice houses, but just finding a house with enough rooms and at least one room for a home theater has been kind of impossible. I've kind of narrowed it down to just getting maybe just like a decent, nice little house with a room for maybe like a 2 channel, a room with like a little office so I can edit some videos, do these live streams and podcasts with you guys, and of course have a bedroom and a living room and a dining room and a kitchen. So real basic stuff just for the main house. And then I'm either going to go with maybe like an external building, like not like a shed, maybe like one of those big metal buildings. I was thinking like 20 by 40 maybe. So I got to find like a house that has some good acreage or some enough space to have something about that size, which is probably going to be nearly like as big as the house I'm going to get, right? Or maybe if there's enough space, I'll just add on to the house, because everything that I found was just a little too small. However, there's been a lot of basements that I've been to that are like 20, 25 feet long. That's why I posted the question earlier tonight. I asked you how high your ceilings were, like 7, 8, 9, 10 plus feet. Because most of the basements I've been in, like almost all of them, they've all been 7 feet. And although they've been pretty long, 25, 26 feet by like 14, 15 wide, but then the ceilings are just like, you put your arm up, you can touch the ceiling. And I feel like your ceiling should probably be about 8.5, 9, maybe 10 feet tall to really get some really good separation with the rest of the channel. Nice space between you and the ceiling. And I just didn't feel like I would get that with a 7-foot high ceiling. But I think, in the interim, I might just have to get something. I might have to buy a house with a nice finished basement and with the 7-foot tall ceilings, and kind of make it work with in-ceiling speakers just to hold me over until I get an addition built on or an external building shipped over. But that's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm trying to find a house with, some good depth and some good width in the interim until I get the whole foundation poured and, room built. So that's why I haven't been doing many reviews. I've been doing these live streams with Don and Zach. I think it was SVS last week. Next week, we've got Definitive Technology coming on tomorrow to talk about the speakers. I was so enamored with the speakers, I figured I would have them on here. So that's why you haven't been seeing any movie reviews. That's why you haven't been seeing any movie reviews on the channel. And that's why you really haven't been seeing any equipment reviews on the channel either. So I'm in the transitional phase. Hopefully the next home theater is going to be awesome. I mean, I'm planning for it to be awesome. I would like this to be like a room that makes it easy to swap in and out speakers. That's big enough where I'm not like cramped. I would like to get some really nice shots in it. So we'll see how it turns out. And I would like to max out the Trinov processor. That is definitely one of the goals why I went from the Altitude 16 up to the bigger 32 channel, because I wanted to be prepared for the day that I moved out so I can do, 2 sets of side surrounds or 3 sets of side surrounds and then multiple back channels. Now is coming the time I'm going to be able to max out that processor to finally put it to good use instead of just running, 9 channels or whatever. But that's why you haven't been seeing any reviews from me. So hopefully within the next month or 2, we get some stuff going, and then, I can continue operations again. But the question is for you guys, how high is the ceilings in your home theater? Is it 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet plus? How big is your theater? How deep is it? Is it at least 20 feet deep? And how wide is it? Is it at least 14 feet wide? Let me know in the comments down below. All right. So that's what's going on in my life right now. Great day to be alive. Big Street Cinema. It is a great day to be alive. What is being a home theater baller like? I don't know. I don't have a home theater. I guess somebody in the chat's going to have to answer that question. Edward, what's up, Shane? Tristan is here. I miss Elias. Elias is still in Connecticut. I'm actually in New York, so I've been in New York for the past month. But Elias is actually housing many of my much of my home theater gear. So some speakers and some other stuff I have stored over at Elias's house because I ran out of space in the storage unit that I rented because I should have just shelled out the extra $30 a month to get the bigger unit, but I was being cheap and I underestimated the size that I needed. D&M launched Dirac Plus DLBC today. Finally, currently $560 full kit. What are your thoughts? Wow. Maybe that's why they shot me an email the other day. They were asking if I wanted to do something with them, and they offered to give me the full thing. So I didn't know it was coming out today. Maybe I'll hit them up because I am doing a review on the A1H. I think that's what it's called, the A1H Denon, whatever their last flagship was. I'm going to be shooting that Saturday. So I guess stay tuned for that. But that is a lot of money. That's $560. But everybody kind of knew that you had to pay an extra fee to activate the extra features. So I'm not really surprised. It is a lot of money. That is a lot of money for sure. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that. I could see if it was like maybe like $299, I could probably get on board with that. But $560? Yeah, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. The funny thing is, who knows? Maybe the next version, it might come like built in with the next version. That's what sucks. Do you guys remember when there was the Auro 3D update, which I think was like $299, right? So, those compatible Denon Marances, you could have upgraded to the Auro 3D for like the $300. But then like the next version that came out came with Auro 3D. Maybe this will be the same way. But that is a lot of money. Look at that. I learned about Flavacol from this channel a long time ago. That was back in 2017. And you know what? When I moved out of the apartment, I still had that original thing, Flavacol, like that thing. No, you get the little thing. It was like $6.99. It's like, what is it, like 12-ounce milk carton box. And that just lasts forever because all you need is just a little half of a teaspoon because it's so salty. That's the secret ingredient to movie theater popcorn is Flavacol and coconut flavored popping oil. So those two things, if you want to get movie theater popcorn, coconut flavored popping oil and Flavacol. What does that sound? What's this? Perlisten or Arendal? Your preference? You already know the answer to that question. Perlisten or Arendal, your preference in both their speakers and subs. I mean, there might have been a time where I was like, Arendal was like the bee's knees. But ever since I had the Arendal speakers, I have experienced, believe it or not, better sounding speakers. One of them being Perlisten. And some of you guys know that they are kind of designed by the same person. Hence, a lot of the aesthetics do look very similar. They come from like the same factory. The packaging is exactly the same. They use the same binding posts, the rhodium plated binding posts. So just imagine Arendal was here at one point in time, and then the designer was just like, listen, I'm gonna make my own speakers, and not really a cost no object type of speaker. So I'll take the Arendal speakers and just improve upon it, and then I'll make these speakers where I don't really have to hit entry-level price point. And then you end up with the Perlistens, better build quality aesthetically. That's subjective. You might like the Arendals, you might like the Perlistens. I like them both equally as well. I do like the paint finish on the Arendals better because it's got the satin matte black finish. The Perlistens don't, although I think you can order them in the same paint if you wanted to. But yeah. I mean, you get the dedicated mid-range drivers, you get the better tweeter, you get the better bass response, you get the better build quality. Subjectively, it could probably look better. I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, between those two speakers, the Arendal and the Perlisten, I'm going Perlisten. I have Perlistens. I own Perlistens as my everyday speakers for my 2-channel setup. So I own the R5Ts, which might not be as good as the S5Ts, but they're pretty close. They're like 90% of the way there. They're like half price too. But I would go with the Perlisten as far as speakers is concerned. Just a really nice neutral sounding speaker. So if you want like a reference speaker, go with the Perlisten. And the subwoofers destroy the Arendals. Sorry, Arendal fans. I know there's some Arendal owners in the chat, but the Perlisten subs are just several steps above what Arendal has. No doubt. Hands down, Perlisten subs destroy the Arendal subs. They destroy many subs, to be honest with you. So that's my choice. But don't get me wrong, for the money, the Arendals are great for the money. It's just when you step up, you spend a little bit more money. In the case of the Perlistens, you get a better speaker, you get a better sub for the money. So that's my thought. My thoughts on the Perlisten versus the Arendal. Look at that. Keeping up with the Jones, Tristan has got... Oh no, my Jesus, my light went out. What the hell? Battery's dead. Hold on a second here. Let me up my ISO. Man, my backlight went off. Oh man, it's a bummer. That is a bummer. I should probably just turn on my light, right? Give me a second here. All right, so Tristan's got Mint Mobile. You're like the first person to tell me that you have Mint Mobile, that you got Mint Mobile. So that's cool to me. Damn. Man, it's just like dark in here, right? All right, 12800. There we go. That looks better. That looks better. Had Mint Mobile for over a year now. Bodie McBoatface. What's up, Bodie McBoatface? Bodie is a subscriber, a Patreon patron member. Thank you for supporting the channel, Billy P. I heard the Defs at Audio Vice Live, and I like them a lot. Yes. I forgot what other system did you think that was better for the home theater rooms that they had? I personally wasn't a big fan of the monitor audio. I did like the Kefs. The Kefs were good. What else did I hear? The home theater stuff. I can't even remember anymore. I think it was just those three. But I thought the DefTechs were the best. Craig Osterberg has got a remodeled garage. You know, listen, when I went to go see a lot of these houses, I've been kind of looking at 2-car garages and then like single-car garages. They're like 7 feet. I think a garage is probably... I Googled it today before I came on. And I was like, what is the standard garage door size? And it's like 7 feet. And it's true, because every garage that I've been into is like, you can see like the beams, the joists or whatever they're called, joists or cross beams are right at like 7 feet tall, just like they are in like every single one of these basements I've been in. So it's like, do I really want to like bother trying to convert a garage that is like 7 foot tall, or just find a basement that's 7 foot tall, already finished, where I don't have to go outside? Taz has got 7 foot tall ceilings. Man, that's the goal. After I get the room built, or however I do the addition onto the new house, I'm gonna go 10 foot tall ceilings as well. Avatar 1 and Avatar 2 is getting re-released on 4K Blu-ray with Dolby Vision included this time. Do you think that would be a big difference? And the first Avatar will include the extended version on 4K. I had no idea that was. I don't think it's going to be that much of a difference personally, because I think it looks great as is. I don't know how much better it's going to be. Maybe to be a little bit brighter. I'm thinking. I mean, it's just color. I mean, some people even find Dolby Vision to be a little dim, so that might be a detriment. I don't know. I think it looks great the way it does right now. I'm trying to think. I don't really even recall watching the first Avatar in 4K. I think I just watched part 2. Bodhi, I have a small theater. It's about 17 foot long and really narrow at 9 foot wide. Whoa, that is pretty. Listen, my old theater wasn't that big. My old theater was, I think it was like 13. I think it was like 13 wide by 14 deep. So it was not very big. It's kind of tight. I tried to do a little bit of trickery. You know, I use the wide angle lens in my videos, and then I try to do the nice little depth of field to make it look not as small. Some of you guys noticed, some of you guys didn't. Bobby Johnson, how do you like the Ever Solo? I love the Ever Solo. I'm a fan of the Ever Solo. I've got the Per Dream Media. I have some loaners that they loaned me. I've got the Ever Solo DMP6A or something like that, and then the Hi-Fi Rose. And I'm trying to think, which one do I like better? I mean, the Hi-Fi Rose is 100% built better because it's like super heavy. It's like $4,000 or $5,000. It's like a legit piece of equipment. And the Ever Solo is just a streamer. And yeah, they're both great. I love the Ever Solo. It does feel a little cheap. Don't get me wrong, it does feel a little cheap, especially coming from the Hi-Fi Rose, because the Hi-Fi Rose is like one big thick block of aluminum, and then the Ever Solo is kind of like a flimsy little metal little streamer. It looks nicer than what it feels, but it is cool. It's basically like an Android device. Well, it is an Android device. But it works. It's been working flawlessly. Chris B. What's up, Chris B? 8.5 foot ceiling, 22 foot deep, and 17 wide. Man, you got a big room. You got a big room right there. That's kind of like most of the basements I've been into, except 7 foot. Maybe like 7.3 feet, I think, ceiling-wise. But that's a nice size room. I like that size room. Hey, fellas, what's up, Neil Hansen? Snowcat, what's going on here? What's Snowcat talking about? Hey, boys, happy to see you all. So hype, I'm finishing my dedicated theater with my first projector, NZ7. Had my first listen with sound today, and boy, it's already amazing. Man, you didn't say what kind of speakers you had there, Snowcat. 13 by 16 by 8. Oh, so that's a little bit bigger than my old theater. Although, I think my old theater, I had like 9 foot ceilings in there. So every time I would go to like swap out the height speakers, I just had to break out the ladder, which is cool because it sounded really good. Having high ceilings and with that most speakers, height speakers, sounded really good. And I mounted them on the ceiling because I felt like it sounded better on the ceiling rather than up against the front wall and back wall, to me personally. Do you have Michi P5? Do you have the Michi P5 in your system? Does it work well with other amps? What did I do? I had the P5. I think I hooked them up to the JC1. I forgot what preamp I had, as it was a couple of, I think it was like 1 or 2 years ago. But I did review the P5. Right now I'm using the P5 with the NAD M23, or is it M28? Whatever the newest NAD 2-channel setup is. It's but yeah, it worked well. I don't know what the JC5 is. I think I only used it. I think I only used it with the JC1. I can't remember. I can't remember. But it's still a great piece. I still have it here. I'm still using it, so it is a great piece. I like this spooky theater look. What is this spooky theater you're talking about? Just oh, look at this. Just ordered the 8K HDMI board for the Anthem AVM70. Nice. How much does that cost? I have yet to play with any of the new Anthem pre-pros. Probably won't see any for a while either. I like the Kef Meta Theater up in the room as good as the Def Tech, but the Def Tech subs are the best. Oh, look at that, see? I did like the Kef room myself. It was impressive. I didn't like that projector in there. I didn't like the projector in the monitor audio room either. Because they were banding like crazy. Did you get a chance to see Godzilla Minus One? Because I saw this movie twice, and it was one of the best Godzilla movies ever. I did get to go see Minus One. I saw it I saw Minus One 2 weeks ago, and I'm not a big fan of subtitles. Like, I try to avoid subtitles like the plague because I get so focused on just reading that I don't see what's going on screen. And I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of skip half of the subtitle, maybe not half, maybe like 30% of the subtitles. I just kind of just glossed over, and I just kept seeing what was on screen. But it's one of those movies where you really don't need to know exactly what's going on in the movie, because it was really easy to follow visually what was happening in the story. I mean, you get the basic gist of what was going on with it. So I found it an easy movie to follow, and I did think it was probably the best Godzilla movie that I've ever seen. And, most of these Godzilla movies, it's like you want to just see Godzilla stomping on buildings and then going back into the ocean. But this one, and then usually the human characters are just kind of like secondary, or they try to give them some kind of emotional hook, but it never really resonates. It never really resonated with me, most of these other Godzilla movies and the human stories. But this one actually did resonate pretty good with me. There's some nice emotional beats in it, especially with the main guy, and then the little kid, and then the woman, the love interest. So that worked well with me. I thought that was really cool. And then him trying to find love, and then with the kid and everything like that. So that worked really well. And then Godzilla was kind of like maybe secondary, like the secondary person in the story, believe it or not. I mean, it's still kind of like your basic Godzilla movie where he just comes in, wreaks havoc, destroys Japan, and then goes back. But then, the deeper meaning of the story is just like how Japan recovered after like World War II, and like Godzilla's like a metaphor. But I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was better than the Roland Emmerich one. I thought it was better than Godzilla vs. Kong. Way better than Godzilla vs. Kong. I thought it was better than the other Bryan Cranston Godzilla. And listen, maybe I would put it on par with Godzilla King of the Monsters. I was a big fan of that one. I did like that one. I liked how they integrated all the other monsters in there, other kaiju, whatever you want to call them, in the story, like Mothra. So, and it wasn't as, like, Godzilla King of the Monsters wasn't as cheesy as Godzilla vs. Kong. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be as cheesy as whatever this new one is, Godzilla X Kong. That looks, to me, it looks just as bad as Godzilla vs. Kong. So I would say Godzilla Minus One, then I'm going to have to go with Godzilla King of the Monsters as my number 2. But I did enjoy Godzilla Minus One. I didn't see it in Dolby Cinema, but I did see it in a theater that did have Dolby, but I don't think the theater was really calibrated properly. So I don't know how good the Atmos is going to be when it comes to the house, but I'm looking forward to rewatching it again. But the question is for you guys, what do you guys think about Godzilla Minus One? Did you see it? Leave your comments down below. And I am going to go see Willy Wonka this weekend. Are you guys going to go see Willy Wonka? Provides a dead link. The Instagram link in your YouTube profile is a dead link. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I have to go. All right, I have to go check that out after this. Oh, Mia Francis. What's up, Mia Francis? Listen, Mia Francis is also a Patreon subscriber as well. Patreon. What's up, Mia Francis? Trying to decide between a CXN V2 or shooting higher for a Hi-Fi Rose RS250, but it is quite a bit more. Well, it's going to be quite a bit more because the build quality is much more superior on the Hi-Fi Rose than the CXN V2. I mean, I'm sure they both sound perfectly fine because when I used when I compared the Hi-Fi Rose streaming, and then I plugged in the Ever Solo into it, I didn't really hear a difference. So I mean, I don't know if you're gonna hear a difference with the Cambridge versus the Hi-Fi Rose, but I don't know, dude. I mean, if we're just gonna go for build quality and just cool factor, Hi-Fi Rose, no doubt, gonna be a winner all day. And of course, listen, you're my Patreon, so just let me know. I'll see if we can kind of hook you up with something. I'll see what kind of deal you can get. You know what I mean? You just got to let me know, Mia. What we got here? Oops. We had that. Unless you really have to. What's this? Unless you have really, really tall ceilings like 12 foot plus, on-wall speakers don't work for Atmos. Don't fool yourself. Having them on the ceiling will make a night and day difference. Listen, man, on the ceiling, it's a way to go. What's this? Just checking, is it still illegal to download movies off of the internet? I don't know, man. Is the Pirate Bay even still in business anymore? I thought they shut down the Pirate Bay a few years ago. It's super late. Is it super late? No. Wow. Oh, it's already been 45 minutes. Who knew? Time is flying. Passengers can't wait for Doom. For Dune? Oh, Dune. Can't wait for Dune. Dude, you spelled that wrong, man. Throwing me off here. Yeah, tough one. It's going to my BDI cabinet, so I won't even get to enjoy the Hi-Fi Rose build quality. I mean, listen, most of the stuff you really don't get to enjoy the build quality because it's like you never really touch it. It's like the Ever Solo. If you didn't touch it, you would think it was a lot more money than it is until you actually touch it. You're like, oh, it actually is kind of cheap. But just by looking at it, you would think it was probably like $1,500 or like $2,000. Pirate Bay is still alive and kicking. Oh, it is alive and kicking. I could have swore the Pirate Bay got like shut down by the feds years ago. I guess not. I mean, way back then, man, when I used to download from the Pirate Bay, it used to be tough because you'd get all the stupid pop-ups all the time. I don't know if it's still that way or not, but there'd always be like pop-ups, and then there'd be like little porn advertisements. I don't know if it's still the same way or not, but at least that's what it was like several years ago. I feel like I had a couple topics I wanted to. Let me get my notes right real quick. You guys got me over here talking about pirating. How dare you? Does anybody here use Rune? Or are you guys just home theater guys? Or you guys actually like listen to music? Or are you Rune users? ROON? Because, they got some stuff coming out. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say it or not, but they got some new products coming out that I may be testing soon. So I'm just curious to know if you guys are Roon users, or do you just stream with Tidal or Qobuz directly to your AVR processor or what have you. What is that? I'm hearing some church bells. I feel like there was something that I wanted to talk to you. Let me just check my Google Notes right quick. The topic list. Nucleus, DefTech speakers, Harman. Okay, so I guess I already talked about everything already. Hello, how do you feel about ceiling mounted speakers versus ear level when listening? Ceiling mounted speakers versus ear level when listening. I'm not sure what you mean. Are your ceiling speakers for Atmos, or are you mounting your ear level speakers as ceiling speakers? Definitely a Roon user since 2019. Well, there might be some stuff coming soon. We shall see. Look at this. I'm a Roon user, Nucleus Plus. Crispy, what is your experience like with the Nucleus Plus? Do you feel that it adds anything to the audible experience, or do you feel that it's strictly just housing? It's just an endpoint for you. Like, does it add anything quality-wise to your audio? Like, how do you have it plugged into your AVR processor? Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Carlos. Listen, super chats are welcome. If you want to support the channel, me being homeless right now, every dollar helps out. Hello, how do you feel about ceiling mounted speakers versus ear level? Okay. I guess you would really have to specify what you mean by ceiling mounted speakers versus ear level when sitting. Or are you using, like, what speakers are you mounting on the ceiling? What is their purpose? And what is the purpose of the ear level speakers? Are we talking about height speakers being on the ceiling? Or are you mounting your height speakers ear level? Or are you mounting your main ear level speakers on the ceiling? Are you talking about left, center, right on the ceiling? What is the purpose of the, you have to drill down the question a little bit more. But I personally wouldn't use LCRs in the ceiling just because you know they're coming from above your head. Even if you are angling them downwards, you're still gonna kind of get the sensation that it's coming from above you, if that's what you mean. I like to sit and watch movies too. MW. Have you heard the Beryllium Ascendo Black Swan? What did you think? I have not heard the Black Swans. Maybe when I get the house, I will get a chance to hear them. I'm sure at some point I'll probably get them in for a review, but I have not heard them. And I'm personally not a fan of the look of them. Like, I've seen a lot of speakers with those type of horns before. I'm not saying they're bad sounding, but aesthetically speaking, I'm not the biggest fan of them. So I probably wouldn't go out of my way to maybe own them just because they look so, you know, they, yeah, aesthetically, I'm not the biggest fan of how they look. I mean, they could be like the perfect sounding speaker, but I just feel like they're such a such an interesting design that I probably wouldn't choose them for my personal speakers. Ah, got it. Thank you. Okay, so I guess I answered your question if you're talking about using your LCRs up top. Chris B. It's more stable than Nook or Rock. That was the main reason for me to get it. It's also a lot faster with communicating with Roon-ready devices. Oh, see, that's what I like to know. To be honest, not much of a sound difference from when I was using Mac Mini as a endpoint. Yeah, because that's what I was doing. When I was using the Mac Mini, I was using the Mac Mini, the the first M1, which used to be my editing PC or computer. And then when I went to the M2, the Mac Mini M2, I moved the M1 over to the living room as my endpoint. And then every time I would go to listen to something, there was always an update of some sort for the Mac. So I'd always have to turn on the TV, go to the Mac, get out the keyboard, do the update. Then I get to listen to some music. I'd go back to review some speakers. A couple days later, they'd be like another update, or the program would close down and I have to restart it. So it got to be such a pain. So now I'm gonna have whatever the new one is that's coming out. Hopefully that will alleviate all these update problems that I have from the Mac Mini. And I wouldn't think that it would offer any kind of audible difference because it wasn't even like plugged into my pre-pro. I was like wirelessly streaming it to the preamp, so I wouldn't think it would offer anything. So it's just like wireless. I was using M1 also, and sometimes after macOS updates, always issues. That is correct. There is. Thanks for answering my questions. Time to sleep. Well, thank you. Thank you, Karam. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And have a good night. True, they do look like they were dropped as a baby. Oh, there was another speaker that looked like that. I went to the I forgot what brand it was. It was some really bougie high-end brand, but I know it wasn't the Ascendos. But they had horns that looked just like that, except like the throat of the horn kind of like went all the way out to the ground. It like laid on the floor, and there was like another horn attached to that, which was attached to something else. Crazy. I believe it was like some Japanese brand. I did a video on it, I think back in 2018. It was the NYC, New York City audio show. That was like the first on location video I did, which turned out to be really good. Still one of my best videos that I've shot before. So if you guys missed that video, go check it out. New York City 2018 audio show. Great little vid. No need to plug Nucleus into the pre. I did at one point plug in the Mac Mini into the Michi. I didn't hear a difference. So I was just like, what's the point? Running a long USB cable to the other side of the room. Do you think the Rel 3D or, in general, supplementing the center channel with a subwoofer high level is worth the investment, or money better spent upgrading a bigger center or more subs? Do I think it's a better investment to go with that? I feel like if you are in the Rel ecosystem, that, high level works pretty well. It did sound, when I was testing it with a high level, it did sound very much like what the Definitive Technology sounds like. Although, obviously, it's a bit more robust because you can dial it in. It's an actual subwoofer, like a 10-inch subwoofer, a 12-inch subwoofer, compared to a little 8-inch in the speaker. But yeah, it made a pretty substantial difference for sure. But would I go that route or just get more subwoofers? Like I said, man, if you have more Rel subwoofers in your system, you're going high level, then I think you would probably stick with that. But then again, like, depending on what your pre-pro is, sometimes you can have a center channel subwoofer. Like I know in the Trinov you can do that. And then, they get the new Denon Marantz has like the different, I forgot what it's called, the 4 different subwoofer outputs, so you can have different zones or whatever. I might just go with like a bigger center channel speaker. I mean, it really depends on what speaker you have. I mean, like I said, if you have all Rel, you're doing high level, I would go with Rel in high level. If you have some pretty good left and right mains and you want to kind of match that, go with the bigger center channel. I mean, it really depends on what you're working with, how much space you got. Even if you could put a sub below the center channel speaker. So there's some different variables there that I guess you would have to take into consideration before going the high level center channel route. Jared Redding, Shane, what's the next movie you're going to see at the commercial cinema? Jared, I'm going to go see Willy Wonka this Saturday. Actually, this Sunday, I'm going to see Willy Wonka. Last weekend, I went and saw Silent Night, starring Joel Kinnaman, aka Rick Flag from Suicide Squad. I wish they didn't kill Rick Flag off, but they did. That movie Silent Night was okay. You know, he doesn't have really any lines. He doesn't even speak in the movie, I don't think. That movie was okay. Let's just say it was just okay. It's nothing crazy that you haven't seen before. But that's the last one I saw, and then this week I'm going to go to see Willy Wonka. I hear Willy Wonka's supposed to be pretty good. I guess it's a prequel on the Gene Wilder, the original version. Not creepy Johnny Depp. Although, I did like his take on it, though. Johnny Depp's take. How about dual RBH21s? Yeah, man. I saw they posted that on their Instagram today, so I reposted it here on the YouTube community. So they were going to actually send me the 21-inch to review. So they already had it packed up, ready to go. And they were going to ship it out. Like, I want to say 2 weeks ago, they were going to ship it out to me. But I got no place to put it. So when I do get the house, that's going to be probably the first subwoofer that I review is going to be the 21-inch. Gene reviewed it over on Audioholics. They have like a whole written review on it. And I think he did like a live stream on it too. But Gene's subwoofer reviews are a little different than my subwoofer reviews. But that will be coming for sure sometime in 2024. Hopefully early 2024 rather than later 2024. And I haven't decided what speakers I'm going to go yet in the new theater. I haven't decided yet. I mean, maybe I'll stick with the Ascendos. I'll have to reach out with the Ascendo guys to see if we can get some more speakers in there, because the 11 that I have definitely will not cut it. At least not for what I'm planning. And then we're kind of like toying around with the idea of maybe just doing a lot of RBHs, because when I heard the RBH speakers at Teo's house, I mean, in case you didn't see the review on Audioholics, I did go and shoot that video review with him. I think he had like the SVT FRS tower speakers or something, so I got to actually hear some RBH speakers there, and the actual ribbon tweeters were just like phenomenal sounding. They sounded really good. So I would have just imagined that having those tweeters all around, having like 20 some of those RBH ribbons probably sound pretty kick-ass. So I'm thinking maybe more Ascendos, maybe RBH. I don't know if I can get me an Ascendo 21-inch or 32-inch. Might have to stick with the Ascendo. But then the RBH, I get the 21-inch coming, so, got to keep it all in the family, I got to get the 21-inch subwoofer. I'm going to have to get the RBH speakers. I mean, I still have the Ascendo speakers. Maybe that'll go into the living room or something like that. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. Ooh, Wonka sounds fun. Have you seen Lady Ballers? I have not seen Lady Ballers at all. I'm not a member. I think the Daily Wire put it out. So no, I haven't seen it because I'm not a subscriber to that. And I'm not gonna go subscribe to Daily Wire just to watch that movie. Can you please give me your opinion on the BenQ X5000i projector? I don't think I already reviewed the X5000i, did I? 5000i? Or did I do the 5000i? Oh, that's the UST X5000i from BenQ. I don't think I had reviewed that, I mean. That's the V. Man, I can't say. Well, let's be honest. Most of those BenQ projectors, all kind of look exactly the same in a different form factor. Really. I mean, if you like DLP, if you're not sensitive to rainbow, to the DLP rainbow effect, it should be fine. I mean, I like the way DLP looks, but I am kind of sensitive to rainbow, so that always kind of bothers me with like the BenQs or the high senses, because I always see rainbows. That bothers me a little bit. I can get over it after I've seen it, after I've watched for a few hours, so you can kind of train your eyes not to see it anymore. But I like how a DLP looks. You know, most of the cinemas you go to are DLP, so it has that certain digital crispiness that I like. Although, you know, with the BenQs, they really can't give you quite the same color reproduction as, you know, like a Sony or like a JVC, really. I think it's an acquired kind of thing, DLP versus like a JVC, the Elcos. I like them for the money. They're like $2,000 or whatever, $3,000. So I mean, as opposed to like $16,000, $18,000, $30,000, it's a good kind of entryway into big screen movie theaters without really breaking the bank. And most of the BenQs have 3D, so if you're a 3D fan, 3Ds look great on DLPs, I think, because they're usually pretty bright and they're really crisp. The 3D works really good on those projectors, and the glasses are really cheap. They're like $25. You can get a bunch of them for cheap. You can get like 4. Sometimes you can get those package deals. You can get like 4 of them for like $80. I've been looking to upgrade my projector to an X-Jimmy. $1,700 fits my price range. Man, I've sold a bunch of those stuff. Listen, if you were on my Patreon, you probably could have got yourself a $3,000-$4,000 projector for $1,700. Get wisdom and be done. Hey man, wisdom never answers my emails, so they must not like me. So no wisdom from me. As you know, I'm also moving to a new house and plan to leave my theater behind for the new owner. Oh, Travis. What's up, Travis? As you didn't get no picture on your avatar. As you know, I'm also moving to a new house and plan to leave my theater behind for the new owner. I need to swap out gear to make it work, but want to do it cheap. The caps will stay. PJ and AVR needed. Yeah, I'm a little surprised you're going to keep all that stuff. You're going to keep your speakers there. But I guess, I forgot what you were going to go with. You said you were going with Perlisten, I think. Yeah, right? You're going all Perlisten? And then I would take the Trenov with me. Take your Trenov with you. Maybe swap it out for like a old outdated Denon. Throw the Denon AVR in there. Take your amps with you. Get yourself like an old... Go to eBay and get yourself like a used AVR. Call it a day. Taking the NZ9 Trenov and then 18s. Yeah, go get yourself a cheap little BenQ. Slap that in there. Chances are they're probably gonna like decommission that room and take everything apart, unless that was one of the main focal points. But you can go get a man. You should have bought one of my projectors when I was selling them. I was selling them for like $1,000, dude. You should have. check my little classified ads there, because those projectors, those BenQ sell really quick. That would have been perfect for your spot. Yeah, I throw a little BenQ in there, throw a Denon in there. Subs. Oof, I'd probably take my subs. Take that deep sea. Well, I think you had that thing custom made for that room. Tony James, you are slacking with the movie reviews. I'm waiting to see how Titanic is. You're going to have to scroll back, and scroll all the way back probably about until 13 minutes into the stream where I go into why there are no movie reviews. You are late to the party. You're late to the party, pal. Bro, I didn't know. Dude, I always post those, I always post the for sale stuff. I feel like every time I post on Patreon, people don't get the posts, because I get the usual guys that are just like, you know, hey, what's up, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like I've got like, how many people do I have on Patreon? Like I have over 100 people, like 140 some people. And the majority of them, like, I never hear from anybody on Patreon. I hear from like maybe 4 or 5. But, and then, you know, Patreon now has the chat feature, so you can chat in the Patreon app, like a text message. I actually did that today, and I think I had like one person answer back. So I'm not sure how many people actually get notifications for this, for the Patreon app. And then every time I do like a post, you're supposed to get like an email. I don't know how it works for you guys, but oh, here we go. See, like I don't get a notification when somebody chats it up. See, Steve Salmon. Nope is why I use Apple TV and have yet to rent about that. But when I do, it won't be sober. So yeah, the community chat feature is always active, and then make sure you check your notifications. Guys on Patreon, check your notifications, because I'm always like putting stuff up I feel like nobody really knows about what's going on. How about a mini eclipse? I'm not sure what that means. Are you selling the Trinov? Oh, this must be for you, Travis. I don't think Travis is selling this Trinov. I think he's bringing it with him to the next house. In case you guys missed it, I posted a video on my channel. It's called the Kaleidoscape Home Theater Tour. Popular video, a lot of views on that video too. I was not expecting you to get that many views on that video. It wasn't even my video when I posted it. Keeping the Trinov for the next room. Moving the RTJs, Mariana 18, Amplitude 16, Kaleidoscape, Trinov, Rack, etc. And he's going to replace it with a Denon AVR and a probably BenQ projector for like $500. Yeah, just go on eBay, get yourself a cheap projector. But listen, we're gonna call this a night, I think. But before we call this a night, let's just take a minute, really quick, to thank tonight's channel partner.
Guys, I want to take a minute to thank today's channel partner of the Home Theater Hangout, Mint Mobile.
For a limited time, don't miss out on the chance to get 3 months free service when you buy any 3-month plan.
Wireless plans for Mint Mobile start at just $15 a month. For $30 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for just only $30 a month. You know, before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I'm paying now from one of the bigger wireless providers, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts to get your new wireless plan starting at just $15 a month. And get the plan shipped right to your door for free. Go to trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee. That's trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee.
And again, thank you to Mint Mobile for partnering with the channel to bring you this live stream tonight of the Home Theater Hangout. So if you guys want to save some money, join Mint Mobile. That's trymintmobile.com/Shane Lee. Again, if you sign up for any of these little promos that I run, it does help out the channel. And do we have any Mint Mobile customers right now besides Tristan? I think this is it, man. Do gaming projectors provide a quality movie image? I apologize for the possibly dumb question. Do gaming projectors provide a quality movie image? Oh, movie image. I think so, yeah. It depends on what projector you get. I mean, if you get a nice high quality projector, like a BenQ, like a nice Hisense. Unless you're talking about like one of these, $1,000 projectors. Some of them can be a little dim. Some of them can really suck with like black levels. Like you get one of those lower end DLPs. Typically the blacks really suck. They tend to look grayer rather than black. So it's like the more money you spend, the better contrast that you get. But I think that's it, man. Hold on, let me see. I'm trying to get Gene to come on here. He's too busy eating double cheesesteaks and coffee at Wawa. Would you like to check out some entry-level systems? Would you like to check out just for compare? Would I like to check out some entry-level systems? I'm pretty sure I've checked out some entry-level systems. Are you offering to send me something, Karen H? Is that the question? But I've done some entry-level stuff for sure. I've done some AVRs. I've done some entry-level home theater. I feel like I just did an entry-level system. I think the DevTechs. Would DevTechs fall under entry-level system? I mean, they are $2,000 a pair. What is your idea of entry level? Are we talking like $100 speakers? I guess that would be entry level too. Maybe the DevTechs aren't. Maybe my brain, after reviewing so many high-end things, I can't even decipher what's entry level anymore. But I feel like $2,000 is probably entry level. But okay, all right. I was gonna hang out and see if Gene was gonna hop on, but he's being a little girl. He's not hopping on. But thank you for hanging out for tonight's late chat, guys. I'm gonna hop on off. Make sure you guys tune in next week, where Definitive Technology is going to be here next week. We're going to talk about their latest models of all their speakers. I know they've been out for a while, but I feel like they should be on a little bit more to talk about their stuff, because many people probably sleep on. Many people don't really talk about Definitive Technology that much anymore. I feel you probably should, because it's a great speaker. They don't cost too much money, and that center channel rocks. So be on the lookout for that next Thursday. It's gonna be me, Phil Jones, Zach is gonna be here, and I think one other guy from Definitive Technology. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next